Pokemon Fire Red. Ever heard of it? Probably, and chances are you've played it and beat it for yourself before. But did you beat it the optimal way? Did you play as efficiently as possible and use strategies to help you beat the game as fast as possible? This would be a speedrun, which are very popular, especially lately. The current glitchless world record for Pokemon Fire Red is 2 hours and 39 seconds, however there are only 86 runs for this category on speedrun.com, the official site for validating speedruns on just about every game. The top 45 are all only about 20 minutes apart too, with the last place run from 9 years ago being about 8.5 hours. I have a feeling we can beat that time and get a time on the leaderboards that isn't last place, with my goal time being about 4 hours. I figured taking twice as long as the world record when I've played this game multiple times before seems feasible. We'll be following the speedrun document made by PulseFX, a top Pokemon speedrunner and YouTuber who will be linked in the description, on our journey to become a top 100 Pokemon speedrunner. That sounds a lot cooler than it actually is since there aren't even 100 official runs yet, but you get the gist of it, let's just get right into it. First, we change our text speed to fast, turn off animations, and go to set battle style before naming ourselves A and our rivals B to make things go slightly faster. Technically it will be faster to name everything A, but I tried to name everything a different letter to make it a bit less confusing for me, but actually in hindsight I don't think it really mattered. We run right into the grass to pick our starter Pokemon, and after a couple of resets we get a timid Squirtle. We'll only be using this Squirtle for the entire run, and I'm not sure how good this specific Squirtle is, but it's a timid nature and outspeeds Bulbasaur. The doc says to reset if your Squirtle doesn't outspeed Bulbasaur, and since we're faster and I reset a couple times already, I just keep it. We're also supposed to check how many IVs it has, and to be honest, I don't really know how to do that, and I probably should have looked it up before starting this video, but I'm sure things can't go too wrong with this Squirtle. Right. We also name it just one letter since that's the fastest way, so we can't name it subscribe like we normally name our starter Pokemon in these videos, as that would be a time loss. If you want to help us avoid a time loss on our journey to 200k subscribers though, you can subscribe if you aren't already, and of course leave a like to further support the channel. For round 1 we get this potion, and battle any level 2 or 3 Pokemon we find in the wild along the way for EXP. The doc says if we have 31 speed IVs to try to KO an extra Pokemon here, but I have no idea how to check my IVs, and since we're timid I figure it's fine. Once returning the parcel we catch a Rattata and a Pidgey to use as HM friends later on, and leading into Viridian Forest, we can cut through this part of the grass since there's only a 1% chance to encounter something walking through it. We grab a couple of extra items in the forest and go straight to Brock in just under the 15-minute mark. I messed up my splits somehow and the times on the left aren't showing, but whatever is highlighted in blue on the left is the part of the game we're currently at if you want to follow along a bit easier. Squirtle makes Brock really easy since we have Bubble now, and so far things are going really well. That's about to change very shortly though. Now we can get the running shoes, and this is great because running is faster than walking. Route 3 has a decent amount of trainers we have to fight, and before heading into Mount Moon we need to get this Person Berry, which is very important. Miss out on the Magikarp, which I hate so much, but I guess it makes sense because why would we need a Magikarp in the speedrun? Then run up 8 tiles in Mount Moon, register the TM case, and give the Person Berry to Squirtle and use a Repel. That sounds really convoluted, but this game is nearly 20 years old, so the speedrun strategies are optimized to a point where you have to register your TM case in Mount Moon. Since I've played this game a ton in the past, I can get through most caves or buildings without a map, but I don't have the optimal movement down yet, so I missed one of the optional trainers which was needed for more EXP. This means we have to battle another optional trainer in the Rocket Grunt later on with low HP, which knocks out our Squirtle. I didn't think this would be too much of a setback, since we can just restart from the Pokemon Center outside the cave, but the last Pokemon Center we used was all the way back in Viridian City. That means we have to run all the way back to Mount Moon from here, but at least on the way we can battle some of the easier trainers to balance out the EXP we missed before. While it probably would have been smart to just reset the entire run, this is my first ever real speedrun all by myself, and I just wanted to see it through. It ended up wasting about 8 minutes total during this whole ordeal, but we're able to evolve Squirtle, defeat the nerd, take a fossil, and exit the cave where we have to teach Mega Kick to Wartortle. This is a move we'll end up using quite a bit in the run, but it has low accuracy and we're a timid nature which lowers our attack, so it isn't the most reliable move for our specific Squirtle. A lot of Pokemon speedruns in general rely heavily on RNG, so let's hope it can be on our side for the rest of the run, so we can get our speedrun on the official leaderboards. In Cerulean City, we grabbed this extra rare candy, and we need to be level 20, but we're only level 18, so I tried to level up one more in the grass nearby, but the grass barely gives any XP, so I just battled the junior trainers in Misty's gym, which you technically aren't supposed to, but the time lost by battling these guys to gain EXP should be less than the potential time loss of losing to Misty from being underleveled. A lot of this game is dependent on if you can get optimal damage rolls or not, and the Torrent ability, which boosts water type moves when you have low HP. If you can maintain Torrent without fainting for a long period of time, it makes a lot of fights much easier, but since Misty uses water type Pokemon, we have to rely on Bite instead, which we learned at level 19 and is a special move in this generation. We start the Misty fight at about the 41-minute mark and go for Bite on Staryu. It has Water Pulse, which can cause confusion, which is why we got the Person Berry earlier on. Bite is about a 60% chance to 2-shot, but we of course miss the damage rolls, then Misty heals, and we miss the 2-shot again. We just finish off Staryu with Tackle, then Bite Starmie, which does just under half. We Tackle to get a better roll for Bite to KO the next turn, then get hit with a critical hit Swift to knock out our Wartortle. At least we healed in Cerulean City, so we aren't too far back and can just try again. This time around, the first Water Pulse confuses us and makes us use our Person Berry, and to play around Misty's potion, I go for Tackle after the first Bite on Staryu to take it out on the next turn with Bite. On Starmie, Swift does about 10 damage and Bite is still not a 2-shot, but we force out the potion, get hit with another crit but live, which forces us to use a potion then, and knock out Starmie on the following turn to defeat Misty with 3 HP to spare. We at least had good defensive damage rolls from the Starmie Swifts, as the doc even shows some of the damage rolls for these key fights from other Pokemon, and we get the Water Pulse TM for Wartortle, which is just a better water gun. Next up, we have to fight the rival before the Nugget Bridge and Bill. Bite into Water Pulse should take out our rival's Pidgeotto, but it lives, so we have to Bite again as he switches to Bulbasaur before we knock out the Pidgeotto. The doc says Bite into Mega Kick should knock out Bulbasaur, but of course it doesn't for us, and I'm starting to realize here that maybe our Squirtle doesn't have the best IVs and maybe I should have reset a few more times. Bulbasaur then lands a Sleep Powder and then we fall. While sending out our HM friends into the battle to end it as quickly as possible, Pidgey manages to take out Bulbasaur somehow and grow all the way to level 10, which was kinda funny, but this stretch of the game is where we struggled the most by far. At this point in average speedruns, they tend to be leaving Cerulean City at this point while we're pretty much just starting out here. On the second attempt of this rival fight, we get a flinch on the first Bite on Pidgeotto, then I Bite again thinking he'd switch out into his Bulbasaur, but we get a critical hit and just knock out Pidgeotto, which is fine. On Bulbasaur we go for Bite, dodge a Sleep Powder, then we KO with Mega Kick this time. Gotta love damage rolls. So far things are going pretty well in the second attempt, and I managed to make it all the way to Bill with no issues. I did opt to battle a few of the optional trainers though, since we were a bit behind on XP and needed to be a higher level to get some more damage rolls, and also needed more money after wiping like 3 times already. On the way to Vermilion City, we get another rare candy and a citrus berry for insurance, then level up to 27 for the next rival fight in the SS Anne, since we're out of Torrent range. Water Pulse and Bite are enough for his Pidgeotto, then we bite the Ivysaur and get hit with a Leech Seed. The healing from Leech Seed means that Mega Kick probably won't knock out now, and we miss the Mega Kick anyway, and get put to sleep, which is the worst case scenario, so I just reset the game. I don't know if that's allowed in speedruns, but I did it anyway. I saved on the boat, so it's not that far behind. This time Pidgeotto sand attacks us, so we miss a bite and have to go for another one to knock it out. We then miss the Mega Kick on Ivysaur and get put to sleep. I tried to wait a few turns to see if we'd wake up, and we finally do, but Leech Seed takes us out, so we reset for another time. On the third attempt, we take a sand attack again, but we get a flinch off bite on Ivysaur to just miss the knockout with Mega Kick on the next turn. He goes for Sleep Powder, and it just dawned on me that we can just use an Awakening to wake it up, so I use it on Wartortle, and then miss a ton more Mega Kicks on Raticate, so I just switch to Water Pulse, which knocks it out anyway. On Kadabra, we miss Bite but live a Confusion with only 10 HP, so we use another potion, and finally defeat our rival, so now we can head into Lieutenant Surge's gym. There's even more RNG in this gym with the gym puzzle making us find the switch in a random trash can. The doc shows 2 different methods for checking each of the garbage cans, so I just go with the Anon can method because it looks like it'll be a bit quicker. I somehow mess it up though and miss one of the cans and have to go back and do it again, and the doc says once you find the switch, you just save your game and reset until you find the second one, because the second one always appears in front of or to the left or right of the first one, so I guess resetting is allowed after all. With how much bad luck we've been having, and yes, it's totally bad luck and not just me playing poorly, I don't expect Lieutenant Surge to go well when we're only using a Water-type Pokemon against his Electric-type team. 2 Water Pulses would be enough for Voltorb, but Surge uses a potion, so I Water Gun twice instead for the KO. 1 Water Pulse is then enough for Pikachu, and his Raichu double teams on Water Pulse, but we still land. It shockwaves us down to only 9 HP, but we get bailed out by another Water Pulse critical hit to beat Lieutenant Surge on the first try, and at the 1 hour and 21 minute mark. The world record is just over 2 hours, so I don't think we're making that, but 4 hours is still well within reach. On our way to Rock Tunnel, we pick up the bike, and the doc says to use bike manip on a hiker here on this route, but I have no idea what that means or how to do it, so I just battle whoever's in our way and make it to Rock Tunnel, my least favorite part of this game. I just can't seem to memorize the layout here and always end up going the wrong way. On top of that, we don't have the flash HM, so we'll be in the dark this time, literally. I even had to look up a map separately from the dock for the Rock Tunnel, since the dock didn't have one, and it took me about 10 minutes to get through here, which is pretty slow. Luckily, Wartortle is really good in caves, as a lot of the Pokemon here are rock type, and is close to being a Blastoise. In Lavender Town, we buy 4 escape ropes we'll need later, and 7 super repels, which is enough if you know what you're doing and have optimal movement, but we have neither of those things. Getting to Celadon City was easy enough, where we go straight to the hideout. I make another blunder here by forgetting we have to go all the way downstairs first and accidentally go through the last spinning room first on the higher floor. We also get another rare candy here, and the black glasses to boost our bite's damage, which is a very useful item we'll use a lot later on. Wartortle evolves into Blastoise here and learns Protect, which I accidentally delete Water Gun for. It's not a huge deal, but later on the doc says to use Water Gun a few more times to save some PP from Water Pulse, and we just can't do that now. If I ever do more speedruns, and if I do, they'll be live on my Twitch channel, link in the description, you should totally check it out and watch. I really need to work on getting into torrent range more often and making sure my Swirtles are actually better than the one I have now. The rest of the game corner, including Giovanni, was a breeze, so now we can go to the department store and stock up on a ton of X items, which we'll need for upcoming battles. The doc suggests how many X items to get depending on how much PP you have left on Mega Kick, but I've been using the Pokemon Center a lot to be safe, so we always have PP anyway, but the downside to that means we have less time for torrents. Next we get the Fly HM, give Blastoise the black glasses, use a repel, and go back to Lavender Town for the tower. This all happened at about the 2-hour mark, which is where the world record mark is, so we're quite behind. We might be able to make it in about 3 hours even though, but we'll see. The rival fight here in the dock has an X attack stat and an X special stat, but since we're a timid nature, I go for the X special stat, which requires 1 to 2 X specials and an X accuracy because we take a sand attack from Pidgeotto. Pidgeotto goes down, then Ivysaur puts us to sleep again, so we need to waste a turn by using a Chesto Berry to wake it up. We take a Razor Leaf and get a Bite critical hit to take it out, then the rest of the tower goes really well, with us even having torrents towards the very end of it. With the Pokeflute, we can head down Cycling Road, and I struggle a bit to get some of the hidden items here because Cycling Road keeps making you go down. Before making it to Fuchsia City, where we should be level 41, and we actually are. We go right to the Safari Zone, and I somehow remembered the route to get the Gold Teeth and the Surf HM, which will be amazing for our Blastoise. For Koga's gym, I messed up a bit and hit some trainers we didn't need to and had to go back to heal, but we get to battle him at the 2-hour and 17-minute mark. There's a lot of damage rolls here and different things we can do, but I try to be smart and X special on the coughing, thinking it would hit us in the torrent range, but instead it self-destructs and gets a crit to knock us out, so we have to reset. I probably should have listened to the document more on that one because the document said to X special later on. This time I just surf the lead coughing, then go for X special on Muck, which goes for minimize. We're probably going to miss a ton here now because of the minimize, but we still need another X special attack as it minimizes again. We then land the first surf as the Muck minimizes a third time, then we miss a surf and get hit by Sludge, which poisons us, but at least we still knock out the Muck. We level up from that and gain some HP, which is nice. So at least we're still in torrent range, which is cool, but we at least need to heal on the next coughing because it could knock us out. This one doesn't self-destruct and goes down to 1 surf, and so does Weezing. Next we go to Cinnabar Island and check out the mansion where we can pick up a Carbos. We need it depending on our speed IVs, and I have no idea what hours are exactly, but I just get it anyway because it's not too far out of the way. And also pick up the key to the gym as well as the Blizzard TM, which is a very important move to have later on, and use an escape rope to enter Blaine's gym. It's a fire type gym and we're speedrunning with only a Blastoise, so I think you know how this one went. We're at about 2.5 hours into the run right now, and you might notice that I stood still for a while, and this is because of a reason that most speedrunners probably can't relate to, but I got a text from a girl that I needed to respond to. Okay, I'm just kidding, I really had to pee, and the text was just from your mom, but now that we're a pretty high level, we can take on Erica as our 6th gym leader instead of our 4th gym leader like she's supposed to be. We do this so we're a higher level for her grass type Pokemon, and we land all Blizzards to defeat her in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, and go into the Silph building in Saffron City next. We can get the card key on the 3rd floor here, but I get lost and forget where to go for the rival fight, and lose some time here until I eventually find him. The strat for this rival fight is to use 2 X specials and an X accuracy, which is enough to sweep his entire team. Then, for Giovanni, we don't need any setup as we have Torrent, so we can surf to one-shot his entire team. His Kangaskhan had a chance to live though, and it does, but for some reason everyone went for fake out on us, and if it did, we definitely would have lost here or at least had to have used a potion. For Sabrina's gym, we can actually get to her a lot quicker than I thought. I didn't realize how easy these warp tiles were, but it only takes 3 to get to her, and I figured since we have black glasses to boost Bite's damage, I thought it would be a pretty easy fight, but the guide actually suggests we go for Surf on our first few Pokemon instead of Bite, then X-Speed on the Venomoth before taking it out, so we can outspeed Alakazam for our 7th gym badge at the 2 hour and 47 minute mark. It was still an easy fight. I was just surprised to see Surf over Bite. I guess Surf does more damage when you consider stab and all that, but either way it worked out. The last half of this game goes by pretty quickly in general, since we can now head straight for Giovanni's gym in only about 3 minutes from the previous gym. The doc still suggests Water Pulse here, and it still does enough damage to some of his team members, and we just one-shot everything on Giovanni's team for our last gym badge and go right to Route 22 for the final rival fight. I don't think we can beat the gym at the 3 hour mark, but we can certainly get under the 4 hour mark, unless something terrible happens. On the rival's Pidgeot, we set up 2 X specials and an X accuracy, but his Venusaur still lives a hit, so we end up losing the battle, and on the second attempt I go for a 3rd X special to guarantee the knockout. It means we're going to have to buy a few more X items before the Elite Four, but that's fine. I didn't save the game for a little while here, so I couldn't just reset either, and I figured the time loss from losing and buying more X items was better than the time loss of saving, resetting, and trying a lot more times and not having the extra X items. On the second try, things go much smoother though, and we get back into Torrent range to make things a bit easier for the rest of the fight. After defeating the rival, I stock up on some items, teach Blastoise Strength, and go through the victory road with a few minor hiccups from battling a trainer I didn't need to, but I still make it to the Elite Four where the doc says to buy as many full restores as you can, but I also buy a couple of revives just in case. For Lorelei, we have a risky strat and a safe strat. Since we only have about 50 minutes before we hit the 4 hour mark, I go for the safe strat. That might seem like a lot of time, but when I do Nuzlocke or other playthroughs for my videos, the Elite Four can sometimes take over an hour. First, on her Dugong, we need 4 X specials so we can bite the Dugong to knock it out, knock out Cloyster with Bite, and then Jinx lives with only 1 HP and puts us to sleep. I use an Awakening to wake up as Lorelei then full restores, so we go for Bite again this time and knock it out. Gotta love those damage rolls. On Lapras, the doc says we need 3 bites to take it out, but the first bite flinches, which is nice, and 3 was enough to knock out Lorelei. For Bruno, there's 3 strats depending on if we have high HP, mid HP, or low HP, so I just go for the mid HP strat, which was a mistake. Because of Rock Tomb lowering our speed, we were slower than some of his Pokemon later on in the battle and had to heal in the battle, and got taken out by one of his Onyxes and had to reset and try again. This time I went for the full HP strat and things went a lot smoother. Agatha was a bit scary too since she has 2 Gengars that are just strong and can put us to sleep. I thought Bite would be the play here too, but the doc says to use Surf and then use 3 X special attacks to guarantee some damage rolls. The guaranteed damage rolls aren't always guaranteed in our case though, but this is why we have the revives. Blastoise goes down, so I go to Rattata to use a revive on Blastoise. We lose our X item boost, but that's fine because we can still full restore and finish off Agatha after a few more turns with our Blastoise. Fourth up we have Lance, and I offer the safe plan again, which is just to bite Gyarados first, then use our X items and 2 more Blizzards, which is only a 31% chance to knock out. We missed that on our first try, so I reset again, and this time we take out Gyarados and the rest of his team falls to Blizzards. If his Aerodactyl went for Ancient Power and got some boost there was a chance he could just live the hit, but thankfully that didn't happen. Last up we have our rival, who made us reset more than once in this run already in a few different battles before, so I saved beforehand just to be safe. I healed to full HP as well, and there's only one strat the doc has for this rival fight. First, we go for Guard Spec on the Pidgeot so our accuracy can't be lowered by sand attacks, but this bozo still sand attacks a few times anyway, which is just free turns for us to use our X items. We need 3 X specials, which is a lot, and the Guard Spec only protects us for 5 turns, so we have just enough time to set up everything we need. Pidgeot then falls to Surf, Venusaur goes down to a single Blizzard, we Surf his Alakazam and his Rhydon, Bite into Blizzard on his Gyarados, then I finish off Arcanine with a single Surf, to have the most optimal fight we've had in the entire run to defeat our rival, the champion, and beat Pokemon the optimal way in our first official speedrun. The timer isn't supposed to stop until after we enter the Hall of Fame, giving us a final time of 3 hours, 32 minutes, and 32 seconds, with a slight time loss for not depositing our HM friends into the PC before the Elite Four like we're technically supposed to do, but they helped in this run just as much as Blastoise, so they totally deserve to be in the Hall of Fame too. Our time is an hour and a half longer than the world record speedrun, but still good for 81st place on the leaderboard if it gets accepted. Please accept my speedrun, speedrun.com. And it's even good enough to beat 7 other speedrunners on the leaderboard, meaning we're not last, and we are technically a top 100 Pokemon speedrunner now, which sounds a lot cooler when you don't know the full context.